This is part 9 of building a camper van with no experience. In the last video, we battened the subfloor and insulated the floor as well. In this video, we're actually going to start installing and cutting the subfloor. So we used the template for the floor that was around there the first time for the first bit. I then used some cardboard to go around the wheel arches and then transferred this to the extra bit of ply that we've been putting on the floor. I used 12mm plywood to go on the subfloor. I know it's obviously quite thick, but I did want it to be a lot stronger on the floor, obviously, especially where all the big walkways are going to be. So yeah, we cut it into 3 pieces. The 12mm ply was then down on top of the battens that we installed in the last video. But before I actually put the plywood on the floor, I took off the remaining plastic covers that were on these sills down the side. And I'm so glad I did, because look at how dirty and filthy inside these sills were. I'd seen online that people say that water can get in from the outside. This is the dirt that I managed to get out. So if you do have a Peugeot Boxer, Citroen Relay or Fiat Ducato, make sure you go and clean the seals that I just did. Then use some wax oil spray after it was all cleaned, and we treated the rust that was in there as well, just to kind of protect it a bit more. And then bought some of these 3D printed covers that go over the seals. I was missing quite a few of them when I bought the van, so just got them off a seller on eBay and just clipped them all back in place just to make sure all these seals were then covered. Then it was time to actually install the floor onto the battens that we'd installed in the last video. I used a countersink drill bit to countersink holes into the floor in intervals. I can't actually remember what the distance were between the intervals that I cut them in, but made sure they're all uniform along where the battens were that I'd marked before as well. Then countersunk the hole into the plywood, making sure that all the screws were thoroughly into the plywood floor and the batten underneath, just to make sure we had a nice secure floor. Once all the screws were in place, we then had a really secure subfloor in our camper van, which was actually looking pretty good, and I was well happy with myself. So if you want to see how the rest of the van build goes, drop me a follow.